Warning, this video contains spoilers from patch 3.3.
Hero of the sky, witness the will of humanity.
Oh boy, that boss fight was much better than expected.
Hi.
Nearly 8 hours. Not gonna lie though, I myself thought it was around 4 or 5 hours max, without skipping the scenes that are skippable. Yes, you heard me right. Apparently you can skip some parts in this patch's story, but only some. Small steps for you. You'll get there eventually. Now when you think about it, it's actually a good thing that I thought it was shorter, because when you get to enjoy and be absorbed into something, you tend to forget how quickly time flies. That goes without saying. The story here was actually quite good. So let's get into what basically happened in this patch.
Okay, but like in English, like what would that mean?
Aglaya just straight up dies. Oof. Murdered by a group of assassins under Canis called the Cleaners. At the same time, everyone else was conveniently at other places. Trailblazer with Finon training, then went to read some scrolls. Hyacinth and Tribi basically giving history lessons somewhere. Danhang inspecting the crash of the train with Lygus. And Cypher is, well, being Cypher. News arrived of Aglaya's death, at which they all mourned. Then Finon took over her mantle as leader. Joined together with the Trailblazer, Danhang, and Hyacinth, the group then embarked on the final expedition to retrieve the core flame of Aquila, who is the Titan of the sky. Before that, Finon asked Cypher to safekeep Kephale's core flame just in case the Flame River decided to be naughty.
Notice me, senpai! Notice me!
During the expedition, the group encountered with the subordinates of one of the first Chrysos heirs, Celiosa, and these subordinates were Solobus and Lunabus. Together, they uncovered a plot twist regarding Celiosa and Aquila. At the same time, Cypher kept safeguarding Kephale's core flame by retreating to Styxia, but was relentlessly pursued by the Flame River, eventually resulting in her death. What the hell? 2 beautiful women already dying in one patch. After retrieving Aquila's core flame, Hyacinth was yeeted by Danhang back to the Vortex of Genesis, while the remaining trio had to go back the long way and retrieve Kephale's core flame. Oh, and Canis dies here. Rip Gilf. They were then also pursued by the Flame River, with Maide, Castoris, Tribi, and Danhang fending him off. Finon then wanted the Trailblazer to leave, since this burden is from now on only his to bear, so he entrusted guards to escort the Trailblazer out. Shortly afterwards, Finon received the core flame from Bartolos, who turns out to be the Titan of Trickery. Goated character here, by the way. The Spirit Thief also dies, and Finon enters the Vortex of Genesis through Trinon's Century Gate, which results in her dying as well. Oh yeah, Madame Herta and Screwlum also got some screen time here, hinting at the possibility of March 7th's whereabouts and the birth of a new Lord Ravager. Finon, with his name censored for some reason, encountered Lygus there. Cyrene makes an appearance, and the story ends. By the way, everyone major in the story here except the protagonist, the Trailblazer, and Danhang, and potentially 3B dies basically. In addition to those that I've mentioned, Maide got revert, and Hyacinth departed to merge with the sky. So this is where all the tension is saved for. I can't complain much considering how good this patch's story was, though it's not without its flaws, because there are really some moments to be improved on. So let's talk about them first.
Well, there was room for improvement, yeah.
Now, if you notice when I said who the protagonist of the story was, I showed Finon, and it's not actually wrong because he's the one who's mainly moving the story forward. Trailblazer is basically a side character already. They're just along for the ride.
He's a passenger, just along for the ride.
A bodyguard, if you will. Kind of underused here still, and the only moments where they actually played a role, aside from the climactic boss fight, was acting as a time machine. It's difficult for me to care about our previous protagonists at this point. I give a shit more about Hyacinth and Cypher and Finon. Hell, I don't even like dudes in the gacha, and I will never pull for a male character even if he has the best animations in the game and or the best kit. I wouldn't even care if the dude has a global passive that will insta-kill enemies. He's still not going to my account. And yet, in this story, I give a shit more about Finon than Stella. Congrats Hoyo, you got what you came for and I hate it. That being said, I do appreciate the serious answers that the devs gave for the Trailblazer during the dialogue. It's refreshing to not experience them as a goofy character all the time. Now, from now on, it's gonna be about the technical part because this aspect is where most of the flaws are situated in. First up, some facial expressions are still bad. One example is Finon during the third phase of the boss fight.
The first and only God that Dawnmaker will slay with you!
Can you be a bit more serious? What is that face? Another part where it could have been executed better is the scene where Finon was stepping up as leader. It was on a smaller scale than it should have been. Because Finon said this:
Urge everyone who has concerns about the Holy City's future and the Flame Chase journey to attend this gathering. Tell them Aglaya has left Amphorius, the seeds of hope.
And only a handful people came. So either the people don't care or the devs didn't put enough budget into this part. It should have been like at the overwhelming bath where the space is much wider at least. This is a critical moment for him. He has some very big shoes to fill. He's about to become the leader of a city for God's sake. So please show the appropriate mass of people there. And lastly, the most unforgivable sin in this patch's story was Aglaya's death. Oh god, she was done the dirtiest. I'm not saying that she shouldn't have died. I'm saying that the way she died was terrible.
Have I done enough? If I embrace that prophecy now and sink into the warmth of these waters, will the wandering wind stop to mourn me, Cyphra?
Don't you dare. Don't you dare.
Oh my god, why did you cut it there? Why did you off-screen her? Stupid black screens, goddammit. It was said that she fell down into the bath. Then show her falling down. Don't tell it, for God's sake. You don't need to show her splat, but at least give her a cutscene. Another suggestion for improvement here, Hoyo, free of charge. You show her getting stabbed, she falls down in slow-mo, you then pan the camera up to her face, and she either smiles and or closes her eyes, accompanied with emotional music, and then white transition. You can't really say they didn't give her a death cutscene due to the age rating, because if so, you won't have this.
All shall bid farewell to one, and that person alone will witness the miracle. Such is destiny.
Become the dawn. Deliver.
My Day literally got stabbed in the back on screen and died on screen. You can see the light fade out from his eye here. So, what's the excuse for Aglaya? Give her the death she deserves, Hoyo. She's been shouldering the burden of the people for around 1,000 years. She's at least earned a 5 to 10 second cutscene of her dying. Aglaya is a beauty that is just unfortunate enough to be in a Hoyo game. Her kit doesn't work as well without E1 and or Sunday, and the writers couldn't even give her a proper send-off. Look, I get that she wanted her death to be quiet and gentle and not get exposed to the public, but at least let us, the viewers, witness her final moments in the proper way. Cypher died alone, and we get to see her. That being said, the aftermath was done quite well, and now we're heading to the good parts.
Finally, some good fucking food.
Imagine patch 3.3 story as 100%. Around 80 to 90 of it is good. So let's talk about the more prominent ones. Firstly, as I've mentioned beforehand, the aftermath of Aglaya's death was handled properly. Thank God for that at least. It triggered the push that Finon needed to step in and see the Flame Chase journey through. Man, her dying wishes to Finon, Tribi, and Cartonus, which eventually led to Finon, her ornament to him that still contained her divinity, so that she would still be there with him in spirit at least. It was all good. Speaking of which, even after getting assassinated, Aglaya still protects. Her ornament that kept the platforms from falling apart and then falling into that gold lava or something, really compensated for her unemotional death. It was good art direction to have during that sequence. Moving around the platform while the ornaments supported them, the malfunctioning orb that gives a sense of urgency, the crumbling structures and panels, though this scene does have its own flaws as well. Stop being stoic, Trailblazer, and why are you doing that thinking pose, Dunhang? They did relatively well for the climax. I don't have much criticisms here. And that boss fight, oh my god, it was as good as Cocolet's boss fight. Actually, I might even say that it's better.
For real?
The animations and damn, the music.
Must bring light to these dark times!
With just a glimmer of light, I'll be able to pierce through the clouds.
Use mine, Hyacinth. I am the one who bears the world. I am the blazing sun destined to rise!
The flame bestow upon us the healing rainbow!
Overcome the thorn!
When the vocals hit, well f***ing done. Normally, I play while leaning backwards on my chair, but for this boss fight, I actually leaned forward when those vocals came in. Ugh, goosebumps. Even Celios's own former companions rising up against her, these small contributions add a heck a lot more impact than you would expect. And when you go back to listen to the lyrics, it's like experiencing the will of humanity, like how strong it is. And it just fits so well in a boss battle where you fight against an ex-human turned titan that has forsaken mankind. No wonder Hyacinth said what she said here.
Hero of the sky, witness the will of humanity!
Please give me more of this. This has brought me back to when Star Rail was peak during Bellabog. And as much as I'm complimenting the climax here, it's not even the best part of the story. That honor goes to Cypher and Bartholos. The fact that Bartholos was Zagreus and they sacrificed themselves for the sake of Amphorius, wow.
Why? In the myths, Zagreus was the most cowardly and shameful of the Titans.
They're not what the myths have made them to be. Not at all. It was actually a Titan that was misjudged who saved Amphorius.
Remember this well. What saved Amphorius wasn't the grace of that simpleton Ethely, nor was it the babbling of that child Oryx. It was the divine power of me, scorned by all, in the millennium-long lie of a cat-eared thief.
God damn it, I'm praising an NPC character more than Stella. I want to apologize for all the time we wasted when I go chest hunting though. That was torture. Oh, and Cypher is the unsung hero. No one else knows about her sacrifices, but thankfully we do. This picture in Reddit basically sums it up. One simple white lie that sustained the Dawn device and gave the people of Okema light and hope for several hundred years. And the reason why that lie remained a lie was because Cypher stayed away from everyone, even from Aglaya, whom she sees as a motherly figure, in order to not let that lie be exposed. The way I see it, Cypher is the most selfless character and the one who sacrificed the most to date. Like, out of all the patches, I'm calling it so far. And it just hurts even more that she died alone. She even had to lie to herself to get Aglaya to acknowledge her during those final moments. Whew. Damn. Now, a few honorable mentions are Dunhang and Cartoonus, with them both buying time for Finon. Cartoonus fending off the black type monsters, and Dunhang who finally used his dragon form to stall the Flame Reaver. Last but not least, Hyacinth. Technically, she's not dead since she ascended as a demigod and merged with the sky in order to keep it from falling apart even further. To add to that, she even went out of her way to protect the people of Okama after Cypher's lie disappeared. Hyacinth stood her resolve even after learning the truth about her lineage and remained a hero to the very end, despite not coming from a line of heroes. Man, I went into the story not caring about Hyacinth due to my preference against Twin Tails, and here I am, sharing how good of a character she is. This now leads to the most controversial part of Honkai storytelling as of late. The pacing and the writing are actually much better here. I didn't get bored most of the time, and I actually felt for the characters, which makes their deaths even more impactful. The scenes involving both Cypher and Aglaya were the main highlights for me, while Hyacinth on the other hand weren't as emotional, but that's not a bad thing actually. Even the parts that were skippable weren't as bad as I thought. They did contribute to the overall world building, a few small pieces to the big picture which aren't totally necessary but still nice to know about. I'm just happy they added some parts you could skip, which means that the devs are listening little by little. And yeah, that's pretty much what I wanted to share about.
It's time to finish this.
All in all, very goddamn good story dispatch. It exceeded my bare minimum of expectations greatly. What do you know, I came in expecting a filler story and I came out thoroughly satisfied in the end. A solid 8 out of 10 for me. Now I will still revert back to my low expectations for the next patch's story, because that's what I and you should be doing. Make the devs work to impress the players, not the other way around. Regardless, keep up this momentum, Hoyo. Take this patch's story as a benchmark and improve on the future ones. Hope you guys can like and subscribe. Later, addicts. Oh, and by the way, please don't bring the dead characters back. Don't ruin their sacrifices. I have a feeling that the writers would do that, but I still hope that they prove me wrong. Please, just let them rest in peace.